as somebody that loves Canada, as somebody that's spent tireless hours and years worshiping and praying and gathering people across the country, you better wake up, because you're losing your country. You're losing your country to demonic leaders that hate the church. And if you do not wake up, it will be gone.
Alexa Lavoie for Rebel News, and today is October 14, marking exactly 20 days since I confronted Gabriel Lepage, the alleged smoke bomber. Lepage is suspected of having thrown 2 smoke bombs inside the Ministerios Restauration Church on July 25th during a stop on the Canadian tour of American pastor and musician Sean Feucht. Feucht has faced significant backlash during his tour, not only from woke institutions and political figures, but also from radical activists, some of whom appeared in person at venues that refused to cancel his event, including in Montreal. In light of the recent assassination of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk in the US, reportedly by an individual with alleged ties to Antifa, questions have resurfaced about the growing threats of far-left extremism. This is especially relevant given that Gabriel Lepage, the man at the center of my investigation, is believed to have strong connections to Antifa and is reportedly employed by Canada's Department of National Defense. To respond to these developments and share his thoughts on the implications, I'm joined now by Sean Feucht.
First of all, incredible work. And, I'm so grateful for you and your entire team, because if you guys did not have the tenacity to go after this and uncover this, nobody would know. And I had felt like since the beginning that this entire thing, I'm not even just talking about Montreal, but across the nation, I felt like that it was in coordination, not just with random activists, but in coordination with the government. There's really no other explanation for how all of these permits, 9 out of 11, would get canceled all at the same time, all across different governments, different municipalities, different leaders. There is a definite coordination that's taking place between the media, the government, and I didn't realize or know that this would lead all the way up to the Department of Defense. But what you have uncovered is massive, and it's extremely alarming. I think to anybody out there, should be raising the concern, like, our own military, your own military of your nation is harboring Antifa activists, especially considering the fact that right now in my country, President Trump has issued an all-out war against those, labeling them as terrorist organizations, meaning that not only are these militants inside of the Canadian government, not only are they targeting people of faith and targeting worshipers like us, but they are actually deemed as terrorists now, according to the U.S. government. So this is a major story that I believe is going to just get more action, more press, more awareness as we begin to shout from the rooftops what's taking place.
But as we got to see what was happening in Biden's group, Antifa plays perfectly for them, absolutely perfectly. But it's a terrorist organization, in my opinion, and we're going to find out. All those questions are going to be answered.
Do you think the Americans should be more concerned about what is going on in Canada regarding Antifa?
I think anytime you have American worshipers inside of a church and there is a government that's allowing them to attack Christians that are Americans worshiping God, I think the American government's going to be pretty alarmed by this. And I think that, honestly, you uncovering this couldn't have come at a better time, because the focus in the U.S. Over the last few weeks has been Antifa. And these guys are obviously exactly what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And, you saw, I called the police. I called them for them to come and identify, the suspect. I have been emailing the National Defense, the military base, the Ministry of National Defense, the Minister of Public Safety, the union. None of them got back to me. The police didn't seem to be in a hurry to come and identify this man. And it's been today 20 days since I challenged Gabriel Lepage. And as today, nothing has been done so far. Yeah. What do you make of this?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm not really surprised. I think that, the fact that they allowed somebody to break into a church and throw smoke bombs at people worshiping peacefully inside of a church and then escape without chasing the guy, without trying to find him. I'm not surprised, to be honest, because what you're doing is revealing a national embarrassment. And it's showing the world how inept these guys are and how corrupt they are. From the government leaders all the way down to the local police. The fact that nobody, of course, they want to disavow it. They want to pretend it didn't happen. They want to sweep it under the rug. They want to, do everything they can to dismiss it, because what happens is by you shedding light on this, it implicates all of those people. And especially now that it's come down to, the revelations that the guys in the, Canadian military as a defense contractor, now it's even a bigger deal. So, I feel like we're at a point where we just have to keep sharing this, have to keep posting it, have to keep talking about it, have to keep making enough noise to where people across Canada demand for answers. And so that's why I'm here today on this interview. That's why I commend you for not giving up. That's why, people across America, my own government, they have to know about this. And we're not stopping until something happens, until action is made, until those that you have contacted about this admit to the fact of who this is, why he was there, who gave him the orders to do this. I mean, this is investigative journalism, and this is what you do, and you guys are good at it. So I'm cheering you on.
And you probably saw the CBC broadcaster. So CBC, it's the government corporate broadcasting company, who actually laughed at not only me being attacked, but also about the smoke bomb into the church, as if it was not really a big deal. So a lot of people actually probably wrote to the ombudsman, but how did you react to see the big mainstream media making fun of what happened?
Well, the big mainstream media, they hate Christians. They hate people of faith. They hate churches. They hate pastors. I mean, they're very clear on this. And so in some ways, I think it's refreshing for the world to see them mocking the fact that Christians are being attacked for worshiping in Canada. And they can't hide it anymore. They have a disdain and a hatred for people of faith. They're completely demonic. And now, thankfully, because of these clips, because a lot of them have gone viral, people can see, oh, wow, I think they look at this situation, they look at this story, they could say, oh, Sean, you're just kind of making it all up. You're just dramatizing it. You're making a big deal about it. Or for you, you're making something out of nothing. And it's like, oh, no, actually, the guy worked for the Canadian government. Oh, he actually worked in the Defense Department. He was an employer in the Defense Department that used illegal smoke bombs to go in and attack a church. Wow, maybe there's something here. And I'll tell you one thing, it's silenced a whole lot of doubters. And it's caused for people to wake up. And I think that the way the mainstream media is reacting to it is kind of just what we expected, but it also reminds people, hey, they hate you. And this is a sure way. They can't even move past their own biases. And so, I'm not surprised. To be honest, I'm not really surprised at all. And this is what we've experienced as we've traveled from coast to coast across Canada with the mainstream media.
There have been allegations made that there was an Antifa member who threw smoke bombs into a church service in Montreal this past summer. The allegations are that they're a government employee that work on a military base outside of Montreal. Are you aware of these allegations, and are they being investigated?
Allegations such as that are investigated by the police of jurisdiction, so that in this case it would be the City of Montreal Police.
Considering that this is a potential terrorism case, does this concern you? Are you at all concerned about potentially a government employee being a member of an organization like Antifa and committing a crime like throwing smoke bombs in a church service?
I'm concerned at every incidence of hate at any place, including churches, and certainly if the allegation involves government employees, that makes me more concerned.
I think I have an urgency. Again, we've talked a little bit about my history. I've come to Canada for 20 years doing ministry. Love the nation. Have just been all over the whole country for many years. But I feel like this was an opportunity to where my eyes were awakened to something I've never seen before. And you know, as somebody that loves Canada, as somebody that's spent tireless hours and years worshiping and praying and gathering people across the country, you better wake up, because you're losing your country. You're losing your country to demonic leaders that hate the church. And if you do not wake up, it will be gone. And, you know, I think that my heart really echoes what we experienced here down in the U.S., you know, just a few years ago, where things were trending in a very horrible direction. And pro-life activists were being attacked, were being jailed. Anybody that dared to question, you know, the empire or whatever you want to call it, especially if you're Christian, Christians were targeted by the IRS. The DOJ was coming after, you know, peaceful Christians. And we had to rise up and do something about it. And I would say it's time for people in Canada to do the same. Like, you need to not back down. I know that sometimes there can be this passivity. You got to push beyond that and rise up and use your voice, use your platform, speak out, take a stand. Like, this is the hour. I feel a real urgency that the future of the nation of Canada is hanging in the balance.
And where do you think it's the worst? Do you think U.S. is worse or Canada?
Well, I mean, we definitely, you know, today's the birthday of my friend Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated for his political views. I mean, we are undergoing violence, hatred, demonic rage for what we believe in. I believe the difference between the U.S. and Canada is we over here now have an administration that's fighting to root this cancer out of our culture. And we're fighting and we're pushing back. In Canada, I don't see leaders up there in the government fighting. I mean, I'm grateful for the one that raised the issue in Parliament. My heart would be that let's see a dozen more do that, right? Like, I think any sane person, you don't even have to be a conservative. You don't even have to any sane person should look at an attack on a church as something that's bad. Like, that should be bad. You know, if you want to be a respected democracy in the eyes of the world, you have to condemn that, which we didn't see a whole lot. We saw some condemn it, but it should have been a wholesale condemning of attacking churches. Secondly, once you find out that the guy that attacked the church works in your own government, that's another level. Then you should have even more people that say, hey, this is not good. This is not a good thing for our nation. It's not a good look for our country. And I think what this has done is it's just this massive revelation. Okay, if one guy is partnered with Antifa, working with the Canadian government, and we found him out, what about everybody else? I mean, I think that this has started to illuminate people's minds like, wow, there is some serious corruption in our government, and we got to do something about it.
Last question. We know that the church received $2,500 fine. They are in court to fight it. But what about you?
Yeah, we've already, I think we've partnered together on that specific case. But then, yeah, there's legislation that's working right now behind the scenes. Because, listen, some of these cities and some of these places where our permits were taken, they didn't refund us our money. They caused us enormous inconvenience by, you know, having us move venues last minute. It took a lot of money, extra logistics to arrange other places to do this. I mean, it's far more than inconvenience. You know, there's an enormous amount of cost to it. And then, of course, you have the whole, them not being able to prove, well, why did you move in the first place? What safety precautions? Because, we're peaceful people worshiping. We don't have a history of attacking anybody. We don't have a history of us, perpetuating violence. And if you can't protect Christians from doing what Christians have done for 2,000 years in your country, that's a problem. And I think that that's what we've seen, is their inability to protect and even their inability to acknowledge that Christians are being attacked in Canada, that churches are being burned in that country. People are starting to see it for what it is.
At this moment, the church is challenging in court the $2,500 fine that they received by the city. Sean Feucht is also now doing his own legal proceeding on his side. And now at Ribbon News, we want to continue to show you what is going on. But we need your help because I'm not safe for doing my job here in Montreal. As you see, there is so many radical activists who want to attack me. So if you want to help me to stay safe, go over standwithalexa.com and give what you can. It can be just a couple of bucks to make sure I can continue to pay for my security and my security at home. Thanks.